Topping our world lead, a never-before-used new Russian missile carrying multiple warheads was fired at Ukraine today, and it was not just a weapons test, rather a blaring signal to the West and to Ukraine that while this one was not strapped with nuclear warheads, the next one, well, could be. Russian President Putin emphasized this point by celebrating the new missile's, quote, successful launch. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh reports now for us from Ukraine's capital of Kyiv as Putin tests the world's limits.
A familiar horror, but a quite different sight on Ukraine's skyline. Multiple projectiles at 5 a.m., apparently from one missile hitting an industrial site in Dnipro city, suggesting, as Ukraine reported, Russia had launched a new type of ballistic missile, perhaps intercontinental, a stark escalation.
Today, our crazy neighbour has once again shown who he really is and how he despises dignity, freedom and human life in general, and how afraid he is. He is also so afraid that he is already using new missiles.
CNN obtained these exclusive images of the missile debris, Ukrainian experts poring over the pieces to determine what this new threat is. Little dispute, it was something new. The Kremlin kept silent during the day, bar this bizarre episode at a foreign ministry briefing that spoke volumes.
Алло. Да, у меня брифинг. Да, хорошо, спасибо.
Perhaps a trailer for Russian President Vladimir Putin's big reveal. He said the missile was a new hypersonic non-nuclear device called the Hazelnut. There are no means to counter such weapons today, he said. The missiles strike targets at speeds of 10 Mach. That's 2.5 to 3 kilometers per second. The modern air defense system available worldwide and the US-developed missile defense systems in Europe cannot intercept such missiles. This is impossible. He framed the strike as a response to American and British-supplied missiles, ATACMS and Storm Shadows, slamming into Russia proper over the last 72 hours. We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against the military objects of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our objects. And in the event of an escalation of aggressive actions, we will respond just as decisively and in kind. Yet Kiev was yet more on edge when the sirens sounded Thursday afternoon. A US official insisted Russia had few of these new experimental missiles, and it had warned allies about the strike. It's unclear if that led to its embassy shutting suddenly a day earlier, citing fears of an aerial assault. Russia sending a clear signal, but now not with a test like this. In 48 hours, it's made a nuanced change to its nuclear doctrine and launched a new missile. Total silence so far from Western leaders, but the blast was heard across Ukraine.
Now, Jake, I think some of the uncertainty about exactly what this missile was that's echoed throughout the day has contributed to the anxiety felt certainly here in the capital and across Ukraine. The Russians, the Kremlin head, Vladimir Putin, keen to project technological prowess, to suggest that there's still a military superpower that has tools in their arsenal they haven't yet, even 1,002 days into this war, reached for, and that the recent escalation, they say, by the Biden administration has made them do something extra. Their assessment, too, that they think they can get through all the air defences of the capital is going to leave many Ukrainians concerned tonight. And also, I think Western officials perhaps thinking when they saw this that they knew partially what it was, able to say some things, not wanting to say other things, and perhaps not knowing other elements about indeed what this missile may be capable of. The fact we're talking about new technology now, this far into the war, certainly suggests that the last 4 or 5 days have begun a new chapter, really, I think, in the standoff between the West and Russia here, and also for the misery of Ukrainians dealing with nighttime barrages almost daily. Jake?
All right, Nick Payton-Walsh in Ukraine for us. Thank you so much. Stay safe.